Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of This Week in Reselling. After Dark.
After Dark.
We are back with our guest host, or our guest, Shane, Soda City Flips. And guys, this is the After Dark episode, so Shane can let his hair down. And Shane,
First off, I just want to start by saying, fuck.
the F word.
Yeah, that's all I want to say. Yeah.
So,
already gone. Wow. All right.
Hey, that's the way to start it. Little years. But Shane, I know that you recently just put a YouTube video out about you quitting selling on Dibdit.
Yes.
So just give us a little backstory in on that. I know there was some he say, she said kind of situation, and I want you to clarify that and give us like the run in, what happened, all that good stuff.
Yeah, no problem. So my video, man, it's hard to believe that one guy's opinion sparked so much outrage, but that's exactly what happened. So basically, earlier in the earlier episode, I mentioned that I did a bag show over on Dibdit Threads where I sold a lot of bags. And in that show, I'm being myself like I always am. I got whiskey. I'm having a good time with the chat. I curse. I don't drop F-bombs or anything like that in my live shows or videos, but I do curse. And like one of the comments I made, I said, Alex Beer King Picker had come in and he's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, just selling purses, man shit." And that's the kind of comments I make, right? Just having fun with the chat and stuff. But I also multiple times in every show say, "Hey guys, don't forget to follow me." I go live on multiple different marketplaces. Plus I have my own marketplace, the Crooked Spine. I'd love to see you guys join over there. If you want to sell, apply, I'll approve, things like that. I promote myself every single time I go live. And literally an hour after I end my show, somebody sends me a screenshot and they're like, "Hey, did you see this?" And Dibdit had put out a set of marketplace guidelines for selling on, well, not just selling or being a member on Dibdit. And a lot of the stuff I do in my shows, had I done them an hour later, I would have been banned for cursing, drinking, well, excessive drinking. I'll clarify, they didn't say you can't drink at all. But I've since learned that they're okay with drinking. Don't get drunk. Don't get hammered. Hide it in a Yeti cup. Hide it, and I'm sorry, that's not me. I don't hide anything from my viewers or people I'm selling to. I'm always going to be myself no matter where I'm at. And I feel like telling me to put my drink in a Solo cup or a Yeti cup is not me being me. So, but they did clarify they don't mind you drinking, just don't get hammered. One of the other guidelines that I didn't agree with was the fact that you can't promote yourself on other marketplaces and things like that. And one thing that I found disturbing was that on their list of okay marketplaces to talk about are Shop Commons, Dave's Kitchen Marketplace, and One Stop Shop. None of them are owned by Dibdit. They are owned by people who are involved with Dibdit, but they're not owned by Dibdit. So I didn't think that was fair. Like, why can you guys shout out One Stop Shop owned by Reseller Information Network, but I can't shout out the Crooked Spine who sells books that has nothing to do. I'm not taking your or your sellers or buyers. I'm not taking your money from you. But their whole reason it is because those guys, Eric and Tim from Reseller Information, are part owners in some of the Dibdit marketplaces. Dave and Kevin, of course, are part owners in some of the Dibdit. I still don't think that's fair, in my opinion. That's my opinion. But that's their reasoning behind it. But I can't go on there and say, "Hey, go to check out the Crooked Spine. We're going to be selling books and things like that." And I didn't like that about it. they had one called price policing, and it was very, very vague. And
That's another
I forget
marketplace, price policing.
the way it read was you can't use any outside information, is what it sounded like. Sorry, my phone's blowing up. From any other marketplaces, and it was very vague. So I took that as I can't do sold comps. I can't tell people, hey, this bag sells for $300, because if it sells for $3, I'm going to be pissed because I couldn't tell people. They're taking my word for it if I tell them, but it'll trigger them to go, let me go look this up really quick. If just some random bag, you know what I mean? Like, I'd never heard of this brand Lipault before, Lipault. It's a French company. I'd never heard of that. So if somebody just ran it for $3, I'm not going to want to bid up to $100 on something I'd never heard of before. So I like to put that information out there. And I took the wording of this particular guideline as I wasn't allowed to do that. They've since clarified that's not what they meant. They are okay with you telling people, hey, you can sell this, or you can sell this for on eBay for, around $200 or whatever. They're fine with that. What they don't want is somebody in the comments saying, hey, that thing only sells for $8 on eBay, guys. Don't bid any higher than that. That kind of stuff. That's what they don't want. And I get that 100% because that would piss me off. Yeah, I'd be super pissed if somebody was in my comments doing that. So they don't mind the sold comps being a part of it, which was one of the things that bothered me. I was like, dude, Dave does this in every single show he does. He talks about sold comps and stuff. Why is it okay for Dave to do it and not me? But that was before the clarity. I think a lot of the problem stemmed from the fact that Dave used AI to generate or help create these guidelines, and the wording was terrible on a lot of it. I've had a lot of people tell me, hey, thank you for the video. We support you. We're happy you made this video. If nothing else, it looks like, because they have made some changes to these guidelines since. But once the smoke clears, the community will be better off because you brought this up in your video, because they're making these changes. They're giving clarity on some of the stuff that was a little unclear, and I've pissed off a lot of people, man. I don't know if
looked. You have 124 comments just on that video. Damn.
And it came out yesterday.
Granted, we were gonna have Shane on before this even happened, so it just happened to fall when it fell.
Yeah, like, no, you guys reached out to me a week ago, I think. And, I recorded that video Monday morning. Monday morning? I think I recorded it Monday morning. Yeah, because my bag show was on a Sunday. I recorded it on Monday. I released it Monday night to my members only, and then Tuesday it dropped for everybody else. So you guys knew nothing about that. I do want to make that clear. You guys aren't bringing me on here just for drama.
Yeah, just for the drama.
But yeah, so people are saying thanks. They're making these changes. Now we all have a better understanding, because some of the guys, I'm not going to mention names, some of the guys made it out like I was lying to people. And it's like, no, I'm not lying to people. This is how it came off. This is how I read it. That's how I interpreted it. And I spoke my mind on my video. I gave my opinion, and I told everybody in my video, look, I got no hatred, no hard feelings towards any of these guys. They've all been super kind to me in the past, and I'm grateful for their kindness. I just don't agree with some of these guidelines. Don't take them for face value. Go look for yourself. And a lot of people were like, yeah, I don't agree with this. I don't like this. And it just sparked so much conversation down in the comments section. And a lot of those Dibdit guys have gotten involved in the comments as well. Dave only made one little comment to me. He said, cool video, Shane, which, Dave, that was 100% sarcasm. He's probably super pissed at me. Mike and Rod, Death Pile Picker and Picking and Punching, both actually called me. Rod was super upset. I could tell. Like, it bothered him that I put this video out. and I'm sorry for that, but my opinions are still my opinions. I did not put this video out to attack Dibdit at all. I just wanted people to know, hey, I'm not selling on Dibdit anymore. This is why you're not going to see me over there. And I advise you guys to, make your own decisions. But people took it all the wrong way. I even had another conversation with Death Pile Picker today, right before this show. And him and I are a lot alike. We don't hold our tongues and we speak our minds. And I think that's why he and I get along so well. But he let me know he's not happy with me, and I'm okay with that. It sucks. I think that friendship will be fine over time. I think the smoke's going to clear and everybody will be better off. But man, that video pissed off quite a few people, and not just the Dibdit guys. Like they're supporters. There's people in my comments saying, because of all the BS going on with Whatnot right now and the scam people.
Oh
And
wow,
stuff,
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
people are saying, "Oh, you'd be a perfect fit for Whatnot." Like, look, man, I'm just voicing my opinion here. I don't agree with some of these guidelines, and I'm choosing not to sell over there. The biggest reason is because
That
I
was
can't
going to
be
be my
myself.
that was going to be my question, and sorry to cut you off because
No, you're
now
good.
that things have been clarified, because like you were saying, the statement was made and things were clarified. Now that you know exactly what they mean, the conversations that you had, will you continue to sell on that platform, or will you not continue to sell on the platform?
If I can't be myself, I can't get behind it.
And
Again,
all
nothing
rights to
against the
them.
Dibdit.
That's what I was gonna say. All rights to them because it is their platform, and they can
Absolutely.
run it how they want it.
Yep.
If they don't want certain things or whatever, that's fine. And you don't have to sell on that platform. Like same thing with me. If I had my own platform and I said, Shane, I don't want you drinking, period. Like all that, or I don't want any of that. That's my choosing. And if you don't like it, then I'm sorry. You can leave, and that is what is happening, and that's
Yeah.
okay on both
Yeah,
sides of the spectrum.
absolutely. I have no problems with any of the Dibdit guys. I don't know Tim on a personal basis, um, but he's involved in this because he owns part of Dibdit Cards, I believe it is. Um, I don't know him on a personal basis. I know all the rest of them. I've gone to dinner with them. I've had lunch with them. I've hung out with them. I've hit a yard sale or two with them. I know these guys on a personal basis, and I consider them friends. And that's why I think they're so hurt, because they feel like I'm attacking them. But I have no problem with any of the Dibdit guys. I just can't get behind some of the guidelines. I have a problem with that. But people can't, and I'm not just talking about Dibdit, but people can't seem to understand that. They just think it's a all out attack on Dibdit, and that, look, I'm sorry, even if it was an attack on Dibdit, I am freaking small potatoes compared to these guys. What damage could I do? They, between the 5 or 6 of them, they have like hundreds of thousands of followers. I'm sitting over here with 3,400. You know, I'm not going to do much damage, but that wasn't the case anyways. I was just voicing my opinion and letting people know, here's why you won't be seeing me over at Dibdit anymore. And I made that statement clear in the video. Like, I'm not trying to damage any relationships. I'm not trying to get people to do away with Dibdit. I want people to look at these guidelines and see if it makes sense for them. It doesn't make sense for me. And I still stand behind that today. I can't promote my marketplace. That definitely won't be stealing customers because I sell books over there. All my sellers sell books. That's all we sell. It's your pop culture people aren't gonna leave your shows because I go live over here. I get it. Some of the marketplaces, they're a little more closer to what Dibdit does. But I think because Dibdit branched out and they started all these smaller ones, it's even better for them. Like, it's not going to hurt them as much regardless. Dave did put out a video, not necessarily in response to mine, but at the end of his video, he did respond to mine. He didn't tell anybody what the video was or who made it, and I know why. He didn't want me to get any views. I get that, right? But he did talk about me being upset. Again, he didn't say my name, but he mentioned Knickknacks did this to him, right? He mentioned, I think he said in his first 2 weeks on Dibdit or something, or on District, he was live over there selling stuff, and he was like, "Hey guys, follow us over at Dibdit," and he was permabanned. Crazy
on
Landlady
Knickknacks.
permabanned him from Knickknacks for doing that, and I think that's bullshit. I think that's freaking ignorant, and
Yeah.
you know,
I
Knickknacks
do.
doesn't
If
sell
I were
pop
to pick
culture.
I think it's. If I had my own marketplace, I would not want you advertising another marketplace on my marketplace.
Yeah, but
On
it's
the
not like he's
same-
going to take all
under
the people with
district.
him. You know, it's not
But-
like he's going to take everybody with him.
I
though.
get that,
Like,
but I just wouldn't want that as a business and as a marketplace owner, and you're coming on my marketplace to like promote a different marketplace. It's just, it doesn't vibe well with me, and like I get that, and like using like the big, like for an example, like Knickknacks. If I just went on Knickknacks with the thought of I'm gonna go on Knickknacks for I don't know, let's say 5 months, and every time I go on there, I'm gonna promote my marketplace just because of the influence that Jocelyn had. It's a little weird, and that's just my opinion. Like Shane gives his opinion, that's just my opinion, and I
Yeah,
respect your opinion, and I can see where they're coming from that.
I understand that as well. I don't agree with it personally. I understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
And even more than that, one thing they don't want is, say I'm live, right? I'm live on Dibdit, and after I end this show, I'm going live on First Class Treasures, for instance, Jake's marketplace. I'd be a complete asshole if I said, "Hey guys, we're coming to an end here. Appreciate everybody being here. I'm about to go live on Jake's marketplace, First Class Treasures. Follow me over there." That's bullshit. I don't agree with that at all.
Right.
That's a dick move, and I would never do that. But what I do is just say, "Hey guys, check out my marketplace, the Crooked Spine. You know, whenever you have time, love to see you over there," kind of thing. I get them not wanting people to steal an audience, like go straight say, "I'm going over on Whatnot
From there
now,"
to
and
there.
then they leave and go to Whatnot. I get that 100%. I'm on board with that. But what I do is just mention that I would appreciate guys checking out my marketplace, and I don't see anything wrong with that personally. I know a lot of people disagree with me. Trust me, they've told me all about it in the comments on my videos. So,
So,
and that's fine. I love that we're all able to have an opinion.
Yeah, and it's okay.
And talk about stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
I'm curious, the people that are listening, I'm curious to hear what your perspective is on this. Put it down in the comments, and we'll have a conversation down in the comments. But what say you, Joe? What say you, Brendan?
Brendan, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
no,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, could you even like not even saying the marketplace, but could you even say something like, "Oh, make sure to like follow me on Instagram or like YouTube or something like that"? Can you even do
they're
that?
okay with that. They're okay
Okay.
with you promoting your social media stuff. Like, if, guys subscribe to me on YouTube, that kind of thing. They're
Yeah.
okay with that. Because that's not stealing money from their pockets, right?
Right.
They just don't want people to take the buyers away from them, basically.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a
What if
money
you would have
thing.
said, check out my eBay store?
I think they'd have a problem with that. I don't know. I
Because it's
honestly
not
don't know.
like live selling, and it's not under district.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just something completely.
that's a good question. Personally, I think that would be an issue with them, but I honestly don't know. That was never brought up.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
All right. So here's my thought of this whole thing. They could go there anyways if they wanted to, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, on district, they could go to the Crooked Spine. It's not like.
But
hey,
how
you
would they
listen-
know about the Crooked Spine if Shane never even said anything about the Crooked Spine?
Well, I mean, you can
Well,
link your stuff in your bio, right? You can.
Yeah,
link-
yeah, and
Right. It's going to be in the
if you
bio, or
go-
if you say follow me on Instagram, you're going to see it on Instagram, or you're going to find it on the Facebook. They're like, oh, hey, he's got a Crooked Spine thing.
Right.
It's like they're going to find you anyways because they're like, oh, I like Shane selling stuff. What other platforms does he sell on?
Yeah,
and
it's just-
that's one of the arguments that they had against what I was saying was just ask people to follow you, because then they'll see when you go live. And that's true. Just like Whatnot, if you follow
Right.
somebody, when they go live, you get notified.
Mhm.
It's very similar over there. But one difference is because on your profile, it shows all the places you're a member of, all the places you're a seller of, and any marketplaces you
Mm.
own. So I get they're like, just tell people to follow you. They'll see all that. I get that. That's one way to do it, and maybe that's the right way to do it. And I'm just an asshole. But I was very, very strategic with the Crooked Spine on how I set it up. If you go to district, so when you first go district.net, you're on the main homepage. Anybody that types the word horror, sci-fi, fantasy, books, what else did I put? Stephen King. There's a lot of keywords that if you type that in, I'm the very first marketplace that pops up out of all the marketplaces there. And I'm not the only book marketplace, but I strategically plan this thing out that all these keywords are going to bring people straight to me. So that's helping because I get
Let's
a couple
see.
of couple of new members every day. And
Oh,
a lot of them I've never heard of before. And it's because they're finding me through, just type in horror right
there it
there.
is.
Very first thing you see, the Crooked Spine.
So how does that pop up that you are the first one that pops up for that? Do you have a promoting
There's
thing
a lot of
with
there's
them,
a
or-
lot of book marketplaces out there, right? I don't know how many there are on district, but because I niche down to 3 specific genres on sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, I'm
There it
what
is.
shows up.
So like, when you're making the community, do you put like tags? Like I don't know, is that how that works? You put like tags to find, like
Yeah, so
your marketplace.
when you create a listing, you can tag them, right? So as the marketplace owner, you create tags. So I have tags for sci-fi, fantasy, horror, Stephen King, um, post-apocalyptic, like what else? Signed copies. I have tags for everything, and people can tag them, and that'll also help with the keyword. So if somebody goes into the district homepage and they want to buy like a dystopian future book, if they type in dystopian future, it's going to pull up every listing tagged with that. So if somebody types in Stephen King, it's going to every item that's tagged with Stephen King is going to pull up, whether they're in your marketplace or not. They'll find your marketplace just by searching for stuff via those keywords. Those tags help out a lot.
Because I was like, I don't know if you can. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to say how I'm trying to word it, but like, it seems like you. Uh, what am I trying to say? Like when you put in horror and stuff like that, it's so like it's like your community is tagged, like with that word. So
Yeah. So I currently have, I think, 30, maybe 32 sellers
okay,
over there, and they're benefiting from me setting it up the way I did. I put a lot of thought into it beforehand before I went to district with the idea, and they loved it. And there's a waiting list for new marketplaces, and district told me you're going to the top of the waiting list. And I think it was a week went by from me pitching the idea to going live. So like it happened
oh
super
wow,
fast.
okay.
But I had everything in place. I knew what I wanted to do and how I was going to do it. I learned a lot just from checking out other marketplaces and stuff. I looked at the other book marketplaces and saw that all of them were dead, and mine's starting to grow. Like mine's. I think mine's going to do well.
Is it because you're niche down so much?
I think that has a
Oh,
lot to do with it. Yep.
okay.
Because I'm niche down so much, I'm able to, for one, make all those tags and keywords work in my favor, but also sci-fi, fantasy, and horror are the 3 biggest selling genres in books, outside of like brand new, because there's a lot of people who like they only read like romance or whatever. But in the reselling world, sci-fi, fantasy, and horror does the best. So that's why I wanted to niche down and try to bring that crowd over here. So, and I'm working on it. We got some pretty big names, I think, coming. Katie Reeds is signed on as of this week, and we've got some other people coming on. I'm friends with a few horror authors. I'm going to bring them on, hopefully do some giveaways and like interviews and just try to
that'd be
keep
cool.
growing this thing, doing some outside of the box things that, you know, other marketplaces aren't doing.
Cool.
To make you
Joe,
like,
I feel
stand
like
out
you would
more.
be a good horror author.
Oh, I have some ideas. I have some ideas.
Just write down your stories from Domino's. Those are horror, some of the horror
Yeah,
stories.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
some stories there, that's for sure. Yeah. So Shane, our garage sale season is going to start, and actually, I saw a listing that's first garage sale that I've seen on Marketplace is this coming weekend, which is stupid because now we have some huge storm coming in and whatever.
Of course.
What do you recommend? Like, okay, I go to garage sales and I just see books all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, you know, besides Alex, Beard King Picker, you know, and you and stuff, I'm like, okay, how do I figure out what I'm looking for or what, you know, I don't know. I just see all these books. I'm just like, there's probably a lot of money sitting here, but you know,
Great
I
question.
generally just
said, so, you know,
I don't know nearly as much as Alex does. Alex sells
right.
tons more books than I do. I generally see a pile of books and I'll just make an offer on the whole pile. I won't bother like going through them. One time Flippy McFlipperson and I were hitting yard sales up together, and this lady had nothing but books. So, you know, we dug through and found the ones that made sense. I found a book for, I don't usually like to pay more than $1 for a book, but this one I paid $2 for because this lady would not budge. She was stubborn, man. But it was a book on mental retardation, and I can't think of the name of it, but I ended up paying $2 for it because I was like, this probably has some kind of value. I didn't look it up. This lady was right on top of us, and I didn't look it up, but I think I ended up getting $40 for some weird book on, you know, some doctor
Was
wrote.
it a textbook?
No, it wasn't a textbook. I think it was maybe along the lines of how to cope with someone who is mentally retarded, something like that. And it did really well. Alex will find these books that are like the hidden gems, you know what I mean, where they're $200-$300 each.
And he'll
I
find
don't
them
know
at
how
the
to.
bins.
Yeah, and he find
Right.
I go to the bins here, and our books suck, man. But if there's a box of books, I always make an offer, and I generally start at like $10 for, just say like a 12 by 12 box full. I'll say, hey, I'll give you $10 for the whole box. So most of the time, they just want to get rid of them because they're stupid and heavy, and they take up shelf space. So they'll agree to it. But I look for Stephen King always, but I particularly like to get vintage sci-fi paperbacks. They're like from the 50s and 60s. Those do really well on live selling, so I'm always looking for those. But any horror, fantasy, and sci-fi, I always pick up if I can get them for the right price, just because I know they do so well on live selling. And some of them can do well on eBay, especially some of the first edition hardbacks and stuff, hardcover books. But Alex is definitely the better person to talk to when you want to learn.
Well,
I know what I like
We
to
need
sell,
to have
and
him
that's
on
what
and
I
just
look
talk
for.
books.
Yeah, he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to it.
My bins used to have a ton of books, like a lot, like whole bins of books, and now they don't anything. But like
ours are always crappy.
They always have like there's always a few Amazon sellers there that are going through them when they come out and stuff, but it's not nearly as many as it used to be. Not even close.
So when you buy your huge lot of books, you find your few that are good. What are you doing with the rest of them?
I usually just redonate them or something.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Now I have probably 1,500 to 2,000 books on this wall in front of me, and then I have another 1,500 or so outside in one of my inventory sheds. And
Is that a
they're not
personal
all.
collection, or is that for sale?
These are for sale.
Okay.
Now, this is all inventory I built up through the years since I started selling over on Whatnot. And I'd say only about 30% of it is sci-fi, horror, and fantasy, which is what I enjoy selling. But on Whatnot, I would have people say, "Hey, do you happen to have, I don't know, some Nicholas Spartan's book or something?" And I would, because I'd buy these boxes and have leftovers and stuff, and I would have it. So I was like, well, maybe I'll donate the ones that I don't think anybody's going to ask for in a live show, right? So I started donating all the junk books I considered. But if I can get $3 for Nora Roberts' book that I'd never read in my lifetime, why not?
Don't know.
So, and
Brendan,
my
a big
wife
Nora
reads
Roberts fan over here.
my wife reads too, so every book she reads she gives to me, and it goes on my shelves, and eventually I sell them. That's one thing I like about live selling books is I can do a show specifically for vintage sci-fi paperbacks, and somebody will say, hey, do you happen to have this book? And I can just look over real quick, or if I know for a fact I have it, I can say yeah. And sometimes I can just, if the show's not going as well as I'd hoped it would, I'll get up with the phone and walk over to the shelves, and I'm scan the shelves. And if you guys see something you want, so that comes into play a lot of times when I do live book shows. So it's fun to have a lot of different options for people, because maybe the sci-fi crowd is not there that night. So it helps to have a variety of different books.
When you have the junk books, like the ones you consider junk, do you ever try to sell them like in lots, just by like genre or author?
I never have. It's probably not a bad idea, but I never have.
Okay.
Now I did find, so I bought that time I went with Evan Flippy McFlipperson last year when I bought that book on mental retardation. I found another box of books at another house, and I offered $10 and they took it. Well, inside there was some scientific research library, almost like encyclopedias on science. And I forget the exact title of them, but I broke those into two separate lots. Like I said, I paid $10 for this whole big box of books, and these were just a portion of them, but there was 26 books. I split them into lots of 13 each, and I sold them for $40-something for each lot. So books like that I would, but I never did it with any others. So I get books all the time that probably have value, but I don't really look them up. I probably should.
Instead of just I mean, you're gonna redonate some at the end of the day either way, but like just to get rid of them, try to get rid of some, get some money out of it,
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's probably not a bad idea at all.
So what is the stuff you really like to find at garage sales and resell? Is it clothes? Is it toys? Is it electronics? Is it?
I love finding, and it really doesn't matter. But as the year, because we've already had a couple of yard sales, a couple of estate sales and things this year. My favorite thing I found this year so far was I found a house. They had two bobbleheads of the same guy. His name's Jake Myers. I think he plays for the Astros. It was, what do they call it? It was a
like a game day
minor
giveaway?
league. Yeah, it was a stadium giveaway, minor league baseball. Road to the show, I think they called it. But they had two of them for $2 a piece, and I was like, I've seen Carrie and these other people sell these. It's got to be worth $2. So I took them home, and I got home. I sold one for $80, and I got the other one listed for $90. Because it's the only one on there. I'm like, well, I might as well shoot a little higher. Right. And so anything I can make a good profit on, I'll pick up. But I really do enjoy selling cameras and things like that when I can find them. They're becoming harder to find lately, it seems like.
Yeah,
at least in my area.
I think people caught on to that they were selling.
Yeah, right.
Because I used to find them all the time, even at the bins and like estate sales. Like, man, I used I remember I went to a sale and picked up this entire paper bag of cameras for $10, and like they were just like,
Sheesh.
"I'll take them." Dude, I made so much money off that. But now you go and see in the sales, these cameras are all marked up 20, $25 and stuff like that, and it's like,
Yep.
you don't know if they work, and even if they sell them for parts, you'll make like $10 off it. So I think people caught on.
Yeah. I also like to look for weird shit.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Oh yeah.
This jug caught my attention one day. I'd never heard of these things, but they're called devil face jugs. And this thing, it's a clay jug, like handmade at some pottery thing or whatever, handmade, but it's got like this evil looking face and devil horns
Oh,
and all this
snap.
stuff. And I was like, that thing's cool. And so I take a picture of it and I start looking.
These are Joe. What are these? Joe jugs? What'd you call them?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Joe Jug. Yeah, it's
that's
Joe
what he-
Jug. It's Joe
That's
Jug.
what he said. Yep.
But you see the prices, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look
So
at this
I
one.
came across one of these and I was like, man, that thing is cool. So they wanted, I think they had 200, 250 something. And I offered them 140 and they took it. So I paid 140 for it. I sold it for 500 in just like 2 weeks.
Nice.
And even cooler, it was a lady who lives here in South Carolina. She's about 2 hours from me down in Charleston, South Carolina. And she collects them. So now she's like, anytime you find them, come to me first. So she bought it off of eBay. And then I drove to meet her because she didn't want me to damage it shipping it. She's like, I will meet you, pay you for gas, whatever.
Oh, look at this.
So
one.
yeah, it was a super cool flip. But yeah, I mean, look at the prices on these things.
I've never heard of those.
I had never either, and this was one of the finds I had in December.
I don't know. I
Wow.
swear I've seen one, hopefully just in a video, not in real person, and I passed on it. Wow.
Wow.
It's
So when you said there was a jug, I thought it was like I don't know, like a plastic jug. I didn't know. I didn't think it was like homemade or
Like
like
a
a
ceramic
pottery. Yeah.
And if they're signed, like mine was signed by the guy, and it was a local guy somewhere here in South Carolina who made it. But it was signed. It still had his little tag hanging on it, like he had
Mhm.
this nice like cardboard looking tag that he had made. Like it was really, really nice. And on the bottom, he had a Bible inscription on it or something. But I guess
Bro,
the
look at this one. This one's crazy.
old timers say they can ward off spirits and stuff. So like
Look at this
Yeah.
thing.
Whoa.
$6,500. Yeah, I'd like to find that one.
Is that you, Ray?
That's me. That's me. I'm holding you and Brendan in my hands. There.
There you go.
Actually, it's probably more of Shane. He's got the snake on him too.
Mhm.
Right. Oh, look, it's got
Good
the
one.
certificate of originality.
The devil's
Wow.
playthings.
Big Daddy himself, Wild
Yeah.
Blood. Huh.
But those are definite bolos for anybody who's never seen them. I mean, they're
Wow.
insane. They're
Yeah.
cool.
I've never seen or heard of those. Wow.
Well, Brendan, hopefully
Me
you find
either.
one
And
next week.
I happened to come across one at an estate sale.
Dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. This person on eBay's got a lot. So I don't know if they're like,
He's like mass producing them in the basement.
or I don't know if they're just know exactly what it looks like. Look,
Yeah, but I mean, I get it. But like, what do the solds look like? Because you can,
great question. Let's see.
because you can put it listed for anything you want.
Let's see if these sold any. Oh, here's one, $375. Wow, hasn't sold a lot in the past 90 days. Crazy Rooster.
No.
When you get it together.
Dude,
I honestly don't think that's like a fast sell through item. Like,
Dude,
I think
this
I
guy
got
sold this
lucky
for
that
$5,200. I take it back, Crazy Rooster. You're doing okay.
Dang.
yeah, that bear below it for almost
Yeah,
a grand.
920.
So.
yeah, right. Put them on Etsy. Put them on
Right.
Etsy. That's what I'm saying.
My apologies.
Oh yeah,
Crazy
there you go.
Rooster.
Right.
That's something I'm wanting to get into is Etsy. I've never sold on Etsy before.
Mhm.
And the more I talk to Keith Vintage Sport Flip, he sells over there a lot. And I
hold on.
have a ton of stuff I think would be great for Etsy. But I haven't started yet. I got to get into it.
I started.
But yeah, those jugs are cool, man. I'd never seen them before either till I found out of that estate sale, and I was like, man, this thing is cool as hell. I got to look into it, and I took a picture of it and found out they were called devil face jugs. And there's another name for some too, and I forget what they're called, but they're instead of being devils, they're just like ugly, super ugly ones. But people like them too. And I was like, oh, I got to try to make a play on this. And I was able to get them down to 140 and it worked out. But it was just too cool. I didn't want to spend $140 on it, but it was too cool to leave behind. And I knew when it did eventually sell, it would sell for decent money.
I wonder if they just make the jugs or they make like other stuff, like maybe like bowls or like, I don't know.
Devil
Yeah,
balls?
I don't know.
I don't know what people make.
I'm trying to look on Marketplace right now to see if anybody just has some for cheap.
Devil jugs. They don't know what they are.
Oh, wow.
Oh, how much is that one?
$50.
Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Be like, do you have any Satan memorabilia that were laying around?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you gotta be careful. What if it's like haunted?
See, I just want to buy this and set it somewhere. Just there in
spirits
the
off.
pool.
So.
Is it? I don't know, man.
That's
probably
what they
tell
say.
you. Like, would the real question, Joe, is will Nicole let you bring that into the house?
Well,
She's
that's
gonna
just
take
it.
one
I
look
won't
at it and be
tell
like,
her.
nope.
Like I do. I don't tell her, and I'll set it in the bathroom, and she'll walk in, turn the light on, and then I'll be sitting on the couch, like, oh yeah, that's right, I left something in there to scare the crap out of her. That's just what I,
Like a little devil, just a little demon.
I was gonna say
possessed.
you bring everything else into the house. Why not?
right. Yeah. Right.
All right, so you know, I'm looking through Facebook Marketplace also, and this guy has this 3D printed James Earl Jones
Oh,
as
nice.
Darth Vader.
Oh, wow.
But look at the next picture. King from Coming to America.
That's
King
hilarious.
Joffrey. It's so fantastic.
Or is that Lion King and Simba? Because was he the voice for
Well, he was
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
voice of
saying.
Mufasa, right?
Mufasa.
Yeah.
or the coming to yeah?
I wouldn't even sell that. Just put it up on my shelf.
That's all
Yeah.
3 movies in one. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. But Shane, we're gonna let you go, man. Thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Appreciate
this
it,
is
Shane.
Oh,
fun.
absolutely,
Thank
man.
you
I had
so
a
much
blast.
for clearing the air, you know, with the Dibdit situation. And again, make sure you follow Shane on all of his marketplaces.
All of them. Every single
All
one he
of
has.
Yes.
And his
Etsy that he hasn't
YouTube.
set up yet.
Yes.
Yeah, and Etsy.
Yeah,
And
it's
Etsy.
coming.
We'll link everything down below. Thank you so much, Shane. Appreciate you. Anything else for the people?
No, man. Just want to say thank you to you guys. Again with the Dibdit stuff. Hopefully the smoke clears and everybody's okay and there's no harsh feelings because I had none towards any of those guys. But
There you go.
yeah, appreciate you guys bringing me on. It was a blast, and hope to do it again soon.
Oh yeah,
There we
for
go.
sure.
Well, my name is Ray,
I'm Joe.
I'm Brendan.
and we will catch you on.
The flip side.
It's not
For
working
next
for
week.
me. There you go.
There you
See
go.
y'all.
About time.
And God
All right.
bless. Peace.
There it goes.